New laws in Brunei that punish gay sex and adultery by stoning offenders to death have triggered an outcry around the world. Under new sections of Brunei's shariah penal code, other penalties include amputation and, in some instances, receiving up to 100 lashes. Phil Robertson is the Deputy Asia Director of Human Rights Watch, and he joins me now from Kuala Lumpur. Hello to you. Firstly, can I ask for some background to this story? Why has Brunei introduced this Sharia penal code?
Well, this is a mystery to us and just about everybody else. As you may know, Brunei is an absolute monarchy. It is a royal dictatorship, and this is the Sultan's idea. And he has not explained why he's going forward with this horrific law, these horrific punishments that really, frankly, have no business being implemented in the 21st century.
The government has said that the code aims to respect and protect the legitimate rights of all individuals. Was there a specific case that outraged the government or the community which brought about the implementation of this code?
No, we've not seen any sort of case. I mean, obviously the LGBT community, as small as it is in Brunei, is very afraid, and they've really gone to ground. A number of them have fled overseas who are seeking asylum in various different countries. But the application of this law is extremely broad. You're looking at a situation where anybody who has a sexual relationship outside a marriage could be possibly stoned to death. This is medieval. It's unacceptable, and the international community needs to step up and tell Brunei that it's unacceptable for them to go forward with this.
You said that the small LGBTQI community isn't at all happy about it, and it might be difficult to get an accurate gauge from where you are in Kuala Lumpur, but have you been able to gauge wider reaction inside Brunei to this switch?
We have not, beyond the various different interviews with key interlocutors. I mean, the LGBT community is very scared, but within Brunei, there are no real public polls. There's no effective way to measure political opinion because people are afraid of crossing the Sultan and being retaliated against. It is an absolute dictatorship. It is a country where the Sultan's word is law. And if people are perceived as going against his wishes, they could face imprisonment or worse. So it's hard to get an assessment, to be honest. There's some pushback. Some people are saying, they're going to defend Brunei's sovereignty. But, these laws are so horrific that, these punishments are just so really off the charts that I don't know how anybody could defend it.
What does this mean in terms of Brunei's international human rights obligations? Does it contravene any international statutes that it itself has signed up to?
Well, there's, of course, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that all members of the United Nations are bound to follow. But soon, Brunei has also signed but not yet ratified the Convention Against Torture. And a number of states like France and others have raised this issue that, going forward with these kind of punishments, such as, 40, 50 to 100 lashings for people doing certain things is a form of torture, and it should not be allowed. This is quite clearly against international human rights standards. It's going to make Brunei an international human rights pariah if they go forward, and especially if they start implementing this legislation against individuals in the country.
Well, there is a growing social media campaign in some Western countries seeking to draw attention to the situation and to deter tourists from visiting Brunei. How much does Brunei depend on tourism, and do you think the government will be sensitive to that kind of campaign?
Well, Brunei is trying to diversify its economy away from just petroleum exports, and tourism was one of the areas where they saw some potential. They saw a lot of, it's a very beautiful country. There's a lot of nature reserves and beaches and things that people could go to, and I think, that tourism campaign has to now be considered sort of dead on arrival because no one's going to want to go face the kind of punishments that are outlined in this law. I think that the international pressure may play a role in ensuring that people are not able to, that the implementation doesn't go forward. That's the key issue that we're worried about, is that there will be implementation of these provisions of law. And I think if they know that there'll be a major international reaction, they may hesitate before going forward.
Just finally, to your knowledge, has the government yet acknowledged that this campaign is taking place and that it might actually affect its economy?
The government has not acknowledged this. They have been very quiet about it. There was a statement from the Prime Minister's office saying that they were going forward, and that's about it. I think that if they were clear thinking about what they're doing here, they would recognize that their situation right now is pretty good. I mean, they've got a growing economy, a fairly peaceful society, and introducing laws like this will only upset the economy, will upset the situation in Brunei, and make it a target for international human rights campaigns.
Phil Robertson from Human Rights Watch, thank you for your time this afternoon.